So the attacks on civilians have seemed to get more barbaric recently. This included an attack on a civilian train, and I'll show you all about that in just a moment. I think it was 14 schools, a hospital. I mean, it's just like day over day, it just adds up. And I'll show you what I mean by it just adds up in just a moment. So here it is. Here are some images of this. There are now at least 7 dead. This was an early report. 7 dead and 70 injured after Russia's missile strikes on Dnipro. And then that's going to go way, way up. But you're seeing this footage of the train. Here we are. This is a better image of that same thing. So again, the train is hit. Kids are on board. I mean, it's just, come on. Over 160 injured. That's a later account. 11 killed so far in the Russian train strike in the Dnipropetrovsk region, Zelensky says. The attack hit civilian infrastructure, including homes, schools, a passenger train with over 500 on board. Civilians on board. 5 carriages were destroyed. Last night, Russian T launched a series of aerial attacks in Sumy as well. 3 people were killed, including a child. 6 others were injured. Look at day over day, 1,200 Russians off the battlefield, 1 tank, 7 armored fighting vehicles, 21 artillery systems, 100 vehicles and fuel tanks. The 1,200 is reasonably high for this particular month. Last month and this month, the casualties have been a lot lower. Despite that there's a Russian offensive coming, but again, drones have blunted the ability to have real offensives in the way that we've had real offensives in the past. Let's go back and talk about what has just happened with the drones overnight. There are only 97 drones. The Russians can produce on average somewhere around 150. The estimates are somewhere between 133 to 160 something, and somewhere in there is what they can produce day over day. So when I see lower than that, it makes me a little nervous. But the trick here about last night as opposed to the night before, because the night before was worse as far as the total numbers. Let's look at where is that. Here, 368 in total numbers. But there is a difference, and I'll show you the difference in just a moment. So here, 97 Shahed drones launched from multiple directions, including occupied Crimea. However, Ukraine's air defense neutralized only 78 of them, 78 out of the 98, so almost 20 get through, and they did some significant damage. Okay. Russia's now using a new Iranian Shahed 136. By the way, what's going on in Iran matters to what's going on in Ukraine. Like, if to the degree that Iran is taken down notches, it can't support Russia in the same way. A new Iranian Shahed 136 variant in Ukraine, marked MS. It's a step up from older models with upgraded satellite navigation and a camera connected to a module for visual targeting tracking. Okay, so they're actually able to, yeah, it's different. It's just the engine and the warhead appear unchanged. There are signs Iran is sending these fully assembled drones to Russia in exchange for other weapons. They're not just producing them in Russia now. So any attacks on Shahed factories or warehouses or whatever in Iran would be a very positive thing for the Ukrainians. Okay. Since the start of the war, Russia has launched, start of the war meaning 3 years ago plus, 28,000 Shaheds at Ukraine. Of those, about 10%, 2,736, were in this June alone. We're not done with June. There'll be more than 10% by the end of June that were of the total number of Shahed drones fired at Ukraine by the end of June. Okay, ISW has previously reported that Russian officials leverage escalatory rhetoric and threats during key moments of Western debates on military assistance for Ukraine in order to scare Western leaders into inaction. And Russian officials are likely again attempting to leverage threats to dissuade NATO member states from supporting increased defense spending. So that's happening. So everything that's happening right now is in the backdrop of the NATO meeting that is going on today. I'll talk about that in my 3 big stories tonight. Ukrainian defenders yesterday neutralized 354 out of 368 air targets. There were more, but they neutralized more, right? So as a percentage, very, very little got through comparatively to, yesterday as opposed to what happened last night. Andre watches as rescuers search for his 11-year-old daughter and wife under the rubble of a residential building destroyed by Russian missiles yesterday. Now, this isn't what happened last night, the night before. Andre was at work when the explosions happened. His wife and daughter were killed beneath Russian debris, but killed by Russia beneath the debris. 9 people were killed and 34 injured as a result of Russian strike in Kyiv. And this is him watching what's going on. The bodies of his wife and 11-year-old daughter are in there. They are digging now where my child and wife are. I mean, just how do you... He hoped they'd be found alive. It feels like I'm just dreaming. I wish my child were still alive. Andre was at work when the explosion happened. The apartment was on the 3rd floor that was of the building that was destroyed. Yeah, I mean, this is what Russia brings to Ukraine. Remember, they're brotherly nations and they're one people, according to the Russians. Russian drones turned a quiet neighborhood street into a scene of devastation, killing 3 people who had simply gone to sleep in their homes. This is what happened last night. Okay, at least 1 person killed in Dnipro, as the city's mayor reports. 14 schools and kindergartens, a city hospital, and a clinic have been damaged. This was just last night. This is what's happening day over day. Here's some image of the kindergarten. Kindergarten was also targeted by Russian barbarians this hour. Ukraine's city of Dnipro. Russia's war is just now a genocide operation, while Europe looks on and patiently waits their turn. This is commentary by Jane Kyiv. But look at the destruction here. I mean, it's just... Okay. Meanwhile, Russian soldiers are using heat insulation and anti-drone ponchos trying to approach the frontline positions. That's not working all that well. And they will no longer be with us very shortly in this video. For cross direction, Russian invaders led 49 assaults. That's the high water mark for the major battlefields. 49 assaults. That's on the higher side, and that correlates with the 1,200 figure. Ukrainian paratroopers from the 71st Jaeger Brigade used drones and eliminated a large group of Russian motorcyclists heading for an assault near the village of Andriivka in Sumy region. Now, I know people are saying, no, motorcycles are smarter. I just see drones picking them off left, right, and center. I mean, I think I'd rather be in the armor than taking my chance on there. And here, Ukraine destroyed a Russian Black Sea fleet boat on the western coast of Kherson region, again with drones. Okay, here I thought this was worth noting. Jake Bro, most of you all know Jake Bro. He does really good work. Putin publicly admitted that Russia has always been trying to steal all of Ukraine's territory, was the headline. But then I talked about this the other day, but I didn't talk about the nuance that Jake's bringing to it, and that's why I'm highlighting this video. He talked about this rule of wherever a Russian soldier's footsteps. I talked about it the other day, but listen to this.
This is an ancient rule. Whatever a Russian soldier's foot steps on becomes ours. This is Putin saying that all of this rightfully belongs to the Kremlin, rightfully belongs to Russia. Anywhere that a Russian soldier has set foot upon at any point in history, that territory rightfully belongs to Russia. This is not about oppressed ethnic Russians in the Donbass region. This is not about NATO expansion. This is a land.
Yeah, it's about Russian expansion. That's actually what that means. But he hasn't gotten to his full point yet of why I'm trying to flag this. Let me keep going.
Land grab. This is about wealth and power and influence over the European continent. That's what this has been about since 2014. Everything else is just propaganda BS. And this expression, whatever a Russian soldier's foot steps on becomes ours, this isn't even original. Adolf Hitler said it first. Where the German soldier stands, no one else will go. This is a Nazi slogan that the president of Russia is currently repeating.
I didn't catch that nuance before, so good on Jake for finding the connection there. Wow. Okay, just wow. And so there's a reason why now Finland, the Baltics, and Poland are preparing a new Iron Curtain as they plan to mine their borders with Russia. It's not an Iron Curtain to keep their people in, which is what Russia did, but to keep the Russians out. All five have withdrawn from the Ottawa Treaty, banning anti-personnel mines. Military teams are marking forests and lakes for mining in case of a Russian threat. Okay. And this is what that border would look like. Yeah. And again, nobody's worried about like, well, what might Denmark do? They're not worried about Greece. They're a real threat. It's not that. It's all about everybody in the neighborhood's worried about Russia. It's like your crazy uncle at Thanksgiving. Everybody knows that Uncle Charlie, he's the crazy one. You got to watch out for Uncle, right? I mean, okay. It's like that. Ukraine's defense industry can produce $44 billion worth of arms annually, nearly 1,000 types of artillery, advanced drones, and missiles. But 40% of this capacity lacks funding. So good on Zelensky for knowing the numbers there and recognizing, hey, we're only at 60% capacity. If we had the money, we could get to 40% capacity. Help us get there, and we can right. That's great. We can make 8 million drones a year, but funding covers far fewer. They can make 8 million. I remember when they were like saying, I think we can make 1 million. They've come a long, long way. Alexander Dugin. I don't really quote him a whole lot, but in fact, I'm going to quote him. I'm going to do another video where I'm going to quote a couple of his quotes and show what he actually means by that. So look for that next. World War III, easy to start, hard to stop. The damage already made is not repairable, and he wants that. And I'll show you why he wants that in another video. Meanwhile, on TikTok, they've lost it. Outfits for World War III. It's the latest trends. A bizarre new trend is spreading across TikTok: how to dress for World War III. Girls post videos with captions like, "Get ready with me for the first day of World War III," dressing in military gear, saluting mirrors, and striking poses to dramatic music. That's just unbelievable. Like, what are you doing, people? Like, just, okay. Anyway, I already showed that with the Jaeger. Okay, Russia retreats and losses in Kyiv, Sumy, Kharkiv, Kherson, Chernihiv, Snake Island, control of the Black Sea. The Navy chased out of Crimea. 1/3 of strategic bombers lost, and 1 million plus casualties. And still, trolls are saying Russia is winning and Ukraine must surrender unconditionally. Like, think about the cost of this 3-day war to Russia. Okay, that's it, my friends. That's all that I have. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.